Hey folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, into the charts we go today on this wonderful Wednesday, March 27th, 2013. Right now, the markets are down fractionally on the day. S&P's down 2 points, Dow down 34, NASDAQ down about 1 point. Now, we were down much more today, but in all fairness, as I've been telling our members, you have to remember it's coming into a holiday. Anytime you come into a holiday a couple days away, remember Friday the markets are closed, you will have extra light volume. That favors the upside. All right, very hard to take down a market without volume. Today we only have 71 million traded, and it's around the 2:30 time frame. Yesterday in total we only did 80 million, and we had a nice little upswing yesterday on the market. So that's favoring the upside. In addition, the market has this magnet to an all-time closing high on the S&P 500. Yesterday we closed within about a point and a half of that level. Today, we were much lower, but they're bringing it right back up. My guess, and I'm going to throw this one out there for you guys, my guess is that tomorrow, the last day before the Easter break or the Easter holiday on Friday, we will close at a new all-time high. This will enable the media to pump the all-time high, getting people even more bullish. And again, even though I think the markets are getting close to a nice down move, I still think you probably have to close at an all-time high first. All right, so that's what we're seeing right here. The reason why the gap down today on the market, simply put, Cyprus worries of contagion. It's not necessarily the Cyprus issue as being big in and of itself. It's more what it represents and what it could cause is contagion spreads. So here we have the banks in Cyprus opening up tomorrow. There's a lot of worry, and it looks like there will be a semi-run on the banks to try and take money out before the government can seize certain monies there. Obviously, they're not going to allow too much to be withdrawn, but the question is, does it spread to Greece? Does it spread to Italy, Portugal, Spain, and the other nations that are under pressure there? And that's really what it comes down to. That's the worry. So what we're watching here is, as we trade into the holiday weekend, how do things go over in Cyprus? If there's no run on the banks, the market should rally substantially. If there's a middle level one, then it should be a kind of a neutralish, maybe flat to upside holiday day. And if you have a big one, then absolutely it could take on a bigger impact to the overall European economy. There's even talk of other countries like I think Slovakia or something like that where they could be the next one there. And these little tidbits of little breaking news make people very unnerved, more so nervous, because if you think about it in terms of the cause, if it spreads to one of these other countries, I mean, what's to stop it from spreading to Greece, to Italy? And then do you have these situations where these bank runs just get out of control and the whole European banking system in some of these countries collapses? So, I mean, there is some risk there. Again, I think that the down move will come at some point. I'm just not a huge believer that it will come before the holiday. I think the media, the Federal Reserve want the markets at a high level here, so people will spend money over the weekend, and then ultimately, that'll drive the economy a little in terms of consumer spending. All right, so that's what we have right now on the markets. As you can see, the market opened below the 200. One thing I told the chat room today, remember we offer two services here, the Research Center and the chat room both have 7-day free trials. Intra Day Stock Chat room, today we had a bottoming tail first candle. We noted that and said that could mean upside. I said first close above the 200 would yield a continued move up to the 50 MA right here. That's exactly what happened. Then you got a pause and a continuation float the rest of the day. We're basically trading right around the highs of the day right now. Now, even though the markets are basically flat to slightly lower, there are certain stocks that are under pressure today, and there are other stocks that are having quite good days. Now, just to give you an update, I did put out, and we did get triggered on a new swing trade alert in the Research Center. Research Center is for swing traders and investors who are looking to swing trade their capital, their money, their 401ks, anything like that. And again, as I said, there's a 7-day free trial, but there was a new chart, a new alert triggered today, so feel free to log in and get that alert if you have access and you have an account here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. InTheMoneyStocks.com. Other than that, folks, a couple stocks I want to mention today. Apple. Apple's taking a little bit of a hit, although it's coming off the lows of the day today. You had a beautiful bearish pattern leading into today, which told of the drop. But at the same time, this is not a good chart for the daily, because basically the daily you want to watch to see where the daily closes. If the daily closes back below the 50 MA here, which it currently is trading there, if it closes back above, it's fine. But if it closes below, then you could see continued downside all the way back to the 20 MA before you hit support. All right, now if it closes back above, and again, this is the daily chart, so you have to see where the closing point on Apple is. If it closes back above, then you actually can view Apple with a neutral to upside bias going forward, as long as it stays above the 50 MA. Another stock that is working out beautifully in terms of a chart pattern, you have Google down about $8. This was a nice bearish pattern of consolidation off of this high. Again, the drop, sideways consolidation, is known as a bearish flag in spirit of pattern below the 20 MA, and sure enough, today you're seeing a nice decline of about $8.50 on GOOG. Other stocks that are strong today, Baidu, BIDU, good pop on Baidu into the 20 MA today. That's a nice move up. Low end of the chart, one of the laggards here in this market, but today it's actually having a very nice day. Another stock having a good day, Amazon, AMZN. All right, you have two levels here. You have the resistance right here of the moving averages, and then if you connect these high pivots, this is your secondary resistance level. I actually think Amazon is bouncing before further declines, which should come over the next couple weeks. May go a little bit higher all the way up to this line, but either way, it's getting ready to, in my opinion, to have a nice down move in the not-too-distant future. All right, so keep an eye on Amazon as it continues to trade here. Other stocks in motion, Goldman Sachs is trading higher. It's really one of the only banking stocks to be higher today. The bear flag continues to be intact, even though the daily chart, you can see it's green on the daily, but this is a bear flag forming. Very nice chart pattern. Look for a time count for those of you that are methodology players. Now, Goldman's up $1.75 today. You might say, well, how come Goldman's up today when the rest of the banking stocks are down? I mean, JPM's getting hammered today, down 85 cents. The answer is simple: Warren Buffett. So Buffett, remember back in the day, he got a huge deal he basically infused a bunch of money into Goldman Sachs, got a huge amount of warrants and premium stock and so forth, preferred stock, and he basically had the option to take his money and run, and he chose to leave the money in Goldman Sachs. So the fact that Warren Buffett is kind of sticking with his investment in Goldman is enough to push this stock up pretty nicely here on the day to about $1.75 level here, just off the highs. Now on the other side, JP Morgan down pretty much near the lows of the day, down 85 cents. Citigroup's down 38 cents. Bank of America's down 5 cents. I mean, a lot of the bank stocks are under pressure, and the reason they're under pressure today while Goldman's up is the overall implications of Cyprus. Now Cyprus, again, I'm sure there's not a lot of exposure in these banks on these stocks, but it's more an issue of if contagion occurs. All right, so let's say all of a sudden things spread to other countries. Well, now you're talking about these bank stocks having quite a bit of exposure, and it could be a very dramatic collapse, even in our U.S. banks, if too much exposure is had and the collapse kind of comes through. So that's what I believe is going on there. Is they've had big runs already. They've been trading mostly at the highs. The negative divergence obviously continues with the markets continuing to float up for the most part and bank stocks weak. But when it comes to the actual price action today, this is based off just the kind of sell the news, be a little safer mentality that if it does spread to other European countries, then these bank stocks could be in trouble. In Cyprus, doesn't matter. I'm sure there's not that much exposure there. But if it were to spread to Greece, Portugal, Spain, Italy, all these other ones, well, then obviously it is a big deal. I mean, then as these banks collapse there, the U.S. investment banks have a lot of exposure there. All right, so that has to be a little bit of a concern to these banks, and I think that's why they're under pressure today. Other stocks in motion today, Chevron's down about 71 cents. Chevron's a little on the weaker side today, but the stock, in all fairness, is trading up into resistance. I mean, there's a huge resistance trend line. Look at that awesome trend line. So, I mean, you have to expect a pullback off of this general vicinity level. It's just too big of a resistance level for not a pullback to occur. Exxon, on the other hand, is up 41 cents. If we take a look at 3M today, 3M's down 68 cents. IBM's down about $1. So, there are some stocks that are slightly weaker today. But as I said, my interpretation is a flattish to maybe slightly negative day today. And then after that, I think you start to grind higher tomorrow, at least in the early portion of the day. And most likely will close at a new all-time high the Thursday before the Friday when the markets are closed on Good Friday and the holiday weekend. Remember, a lot of shopping gets done over these weekend periods, so it definitely implies that you should see the attempt, at least by the Federal Reserve and the banks, to close the market at these high levels to coax in more retail money. All right, they want to be able to pump that it's a new all-time closing high in the S&P. What better time to do that into the holiday weekend, you know? All right, guys, let me just see if there's anything else I want to mention. I think that's about it for today, folks. Have a great afternoon, great evening. Come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Take the 7-day free trial. Learn to trade like a pro. My policy is you come here, you join us today, and you profit for life. It's that simple. All right, guys, take care. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you soon.